Hello. All right, good morning, KNUST. Can we get the technical team to bring down the audio for me, please, for the video? Great, thank you very much. Good morning, KNUST. Well, you know, before I came here, I was told that KNUST is first in everything, including first in morning energy. So I want to feel the energy in the room. Good morning, KNUST. Okay, now I'm getting a bit of the energy. So I'm going to kindly ask that those of us sitting behind, if you can kindly move forward. Those sitting behind, kindly move forward for me. If you don't move forward, I'll have to come and mention your name directly. So please move forward for me. Let's fill up the front row seats. Kindly, so that we are able to do this quickly. Yes, gentlemen and ladies, thank you so much for moving up to the front. Please, let's give them a round of applause for doing this for us. Thank you so much for moving up to the front row seats. We would like to keep it occupied. Please, if there is space in front of you, fill that space. Do not leave a space in front of you. Let's do this quickly so that we can be on time. Dear gentlemen and ladies, if you can kindly move forward and fill the spaces in front of you, this would be very helpful. I am still looking at some gentlemen and ladies over there who are still sitting. Please move forward. Or you want us to keep clapping for you before you sit. Please, let's give them a round of applause till they sit. It looks like they need the encouragement. Let us move forward, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's day 3 of the Technology Week. We've had an interesting week from day 1 and day 2. We've seen very interesting programs. We've had very interesting schedules. And today, we are moving to a different section. So in day 1, we've seen the innovation and prototyping. For day 2, we've seen product development and scaling. And today, we are getting into the boardroom. Are there boys in the house? Are there active boys in the house? Do we want jobs? Are we ready for jobs? Oh, you don't want job for the boys? But you are sounding like you're not interested in job for the boys. Somebody say job for the boys. I can't hear you. Somebody say job for the boys. Okay, it looks like you're not ready for the job for the boys. I would ask the company owners here to go back because it looks like we are not ready for them. Are we ready for them? Great. So today we are having a conversation. We are looking at the future of work, positioning IT talents for global outsourcing demand. And today with me, we have a couple of people, representations from some organizations. Some of them you are very familiar with. In fact, all of them you are very familiar with. So without much ado, I'm going to invite them to join me upstage for today's conversation. And the first person I'm inviting upstage is no other person than the manager for the Amalitech Service Center, Kumasi. Can we give a round of applause to Sharaf Dean Ochre? Joining us again is the country director for 4th IR, an AI hub here in Ghana, and he has some interesting news for you guys. Some very interesting stuff about AI that is happening. With a round of applause, shall we welcome Benny on stage? We are in KNUST. This is the host for today's conversation. We would do no justice if we do not have representation from the university. So with a resounding round of applause, shall we welcome on stage Professor Akoa to join us. That is how you know you are on home turf. That is how you know you are on home turf. And then finally, just as we are talking about companies, we are talking about faculty, you, the students here, are the reason for today's conversation. So what justice will we do if we do not have a representation from the student body? With a resounding round of applause, shall we welcome Ya Tibiri? We can do it louder. We can do it louder. Proud women in engineering. There is none other than that. Great. So I'm going to shift my focus here and join the panel. We're going to be having an interesting conversation. So I would like them to quickly introduce themselves properly. I just did a very quick, shabby one, but I would ask them to introduce themselves quickly so that we know who and who we're speaking to. Over here. Yeah. Right. So starting with the immediate person to my right, I just introduced you, but if you can kindly introduce yourself and then your company as well, the work you do there.
All right, thank you. So, as you rightly mentioned, I'm Sharafdin Otre, the key senior technical accounts manager in Amalitech Ghana, and the service center manager here in Kumasi as well. For the purposes of background, I also started off as a software developer, and I've been in the industry for approximately 11 years now. Now I'm mostly into projects and products management.
11 years of experience sitting right here with us, and also the service center manager for Kumasi. I'm sure most of you, by the time you are done, you are going to be vying for positions in Amalitech. So it's better you open your ears and listen here, because he's going to be dropping all the tips on how to get into Amalitech. Next to him, Bernard, please do me the honors.
Good morning, everyone. 11 years, I need to smile a little bit. I mean, for me, it's 35 years. I think you guys know what we do, right? Do you want me to explain it again? You heard from me a couple of times already. So I'm representing Fortha, a company that I co-founded and co-own. Very happy to have found Ghana as the source for our talent. We have a couple of offices in Accra, none yet here in Kumasi. That might change, though. And what we do is we are building AI solutions for clients in Europe and the US. Building AI solutions for clients outside Ghana, using our own platform, but also, doing bespoke services for these organizations that are looking for innovative solutions in the AI space.
Please, a round of applause for Benny. So we had 11 years, we have 35 years. We are building up the portfolio of the talents on this stage right now. So I'm going to move over to the home turf. Our own professor, the man who has made it possible for us to be here today. Prof, if you can kindly introduce yourself and then the faculty you represent. Yes, please, louder for your professor. No one does it better than KNUST.
Hello? Yeah, so I don't know what I should say because anyway, I'm Emmanuel Kofi Akoa. I happen to be the head of the best department in the whole of Kenya.
The best department.
Yes, I've worked both in industry and academia. I've worked there for about 13 years. I've worked on infrastructure projects, cloud infrastructure, other kinds of energy efficiency and other things. Over here, I deal with things in the domain of broadband communications, things to do with high-speed optical communications and things at the nano scale. And I love what I do.
Please, louder for Professor. Right. So we have seen the organizations, we have seen businesses, we have seen faculty. Now, one of your own, a representation from the student body. Yeah, if you could kindly introduce yourself for us.
So, my name is Saria Mponsa-Tebi. I'm in 4th year computer engineering, and I don't have any of these amazing accomplishments yet. So, hopefully after Tweek, I'll start from somewhere.
Please, louder for ya. It takes a lot of courage to be present amongst these people, but also a good representation of what the future looks like, right? The future of tech is women. Women, are you in the house? Women, are you in the house? Please, a round of applause for yourselves. All right, so let's jump straight into the conversation, right? We are talking about the future of work and how we are positioning IT talent for global outsourcing demands. Somebody is wondering, what do we mean by global outsourcing demands, right? So for most of you, I'm sure you've heard about some people who work in tech and they are working for big names, Google, Amazon, AWS, Amalitech, Fourth IR, a whole array of them. And you are wondering, how do I get there, or how do I become that guy who is doing the work from here in Ghana or in Africa and then supplying that talent to people in the US, in Germany, in Europe, right, basically. So how do we get from that point, from here? So I'm going to start off with Sharaf, right? So specifically for Amalitech, so what are the specific technical skills or non-technical skills that are in most demand for your company right now? Maybe if you could also give us a highlight of the roles, the name of the title positions that you have over there as well.
Thank you, Chester. Since I've been targeted, I'm always beginning. All right, that's fair. I mean, the reality on the ground is the digital skills continues to be the demanding skills out there. There's no doubt about that. And that is the only skill, and at least that we are easily able to outsource to international companies because of the ability to work remotely and all, compared to things like manufacturing and everything. It doesn't really work. So when you talk about these skills, I've seen students always saying that during my experience, most people say, you know, I'm a front-end developer, I'm a back-end developer, I am a cloud specialist or AI specialist. I think that the job industry is going beyond this classification of skills. It is all about the specific skill sets that you can primarily gain. So for example, I'm a front-end engineer. For example, I have the skills in JavaScript. I have the skills that is my base programming language that I have. Then you could think about the possible scenarios around JavaScript. There are so many frameworks that are built on top of JavaScript, like the Vue, the React, the Node.js, the Express.js. So this is a whole niche for you. There is no way you can then on that level design or define yourself as a front-end developer or a back-end developer. That means that when there is a job that is demanding from a front-end developer, because you have the React skills, you are able to apply for that skill. When you also have the skill, because you are a JavaScript developer as your primary framework or your primary programming language, then you are experienced also in, say, Node.js, which is a back-end server-side scripting language, right? You can basically also even be able to apply as a back-end engineer because of your knowledge on JavaScript. Just imagine that there is a job out there that they are looking for quality assurance engineer, and they need you to work on Cypress. Also, you should be able to position yourself because of your skill in JavaScript. So for me, I want students to be able to think around these skills, specifically regarding the skills that you can specifically take from programming languages. What are the programming languages that can basically define me at this moment? What are the frameworks that I can gain knowledge on to build on top of this kind of primary languages? When it comes to infrastructure, what are the key skills here? I'm supposed to be able to learn Docker, Kubernetes, etc. You don't need to define yourself as a DevOps engineer before you learn things like Docker or Kubernetes. But the moment you take up this skill, then you easily position also yourself for a DevOps role when it is open. So I think we need to think about it as this skill set. One non-technical skills that I also wanted, the non-technical background I wanted to also give is the area global outsourcing. I mean, I've seen students always coming in, oh, I'm good technically, I can do this and everything. But look, we have gotten to a stage where creativity, proactiveness, and problem-solving skills overrides every other skill that you have. If you're able to code, then you should be able to articulate your idea in a very smart way to the person listening to you. And this is a skill you cannot in any way jeopardize. You need to have. It's a must-have skill. On top of that, project management, Scrum mastering, there are numerous skills all available out there. For me, the most important thing is that do not classify yourself in a certain specialization, but think about the tools and the technologies that you can perhaps gain in the field of computer engineering. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Sharaf. So if I heard correctly, it's not so much as the very specific skill that you are having, but also being able to scale up and then use the knowledge that you have gained in diverse places. So then you are not restricted to just one idea. You are able to scale up, especially for young students who are coming out of the universities, who are going to be working in companies and then they are asking for entry roles. One person with just one skill set is not as useful to the company as one person who can be easily scaled up to work in different aspects of the organization, if I understood correctly. Anyway, so I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Chester Mauli. I work with GIZ's Invest for Jobs program, and I'm a technical advisor. So then GIZ as an organization works with some of these companies in trying to create opportunities for our fresh graduates, right? And in some of these conversations, we've engaged with Amalitech, we've engaged with Fourth IR, we've engaged with the university body as well, and then we've tried to handle programs in that regard. So I'm going to turn around to Benny very quickly, and then we're going to look at, away from the regular skill set that we look at, but then what are some of the emerging skill sets, right? The emerging fields that students who are coming out of the universities need to be concerned about to position them properly for the future of work.
Thank you. You guys know that we are in the AI space. That means that obviously data science is quite core, but a data scientist alone will not, develop a solution on its own. What we would expect from you guys is obviously you know your stuff, to his point, right? I fully agree with it. We would also expect you to continue to learn. I'm not aware of any university in Germany, my home country, that would be teaching about MCP servers. It's an AI concept that just came to fruition maybe 6 months ago, but information about it is available. So continue to learn because of the university you're in, but also because of other information that is accessible to you and because you were taught in being curious. That's your currency, right? So we would expect also you to understand how you can use tools that are already available and will become better for coding, right? Vibe coding, whatever you want to call it, is going to become even more relevant. Why? Because we want to become ever more efficient. The other thing that is important to us, also to your point, we are in the outsourcing business. So we are doing projects for clients in the US and in Germany. This panel session started 45 minutes late. If you do that in the US twice, you're out. So in terms of intangibles, we are looking at skill sets that we know are representative of a probably cultural gap, which we need to overcome together, right? Our clients in Germany love to be working with you once you are on time, once you can articulate yourself, and once you actually articulate also a challenge, right? But this is a cultural aspect that all of us need to be aware of, and we have to overcome together. So, in short, we are looking for talent that is curious, that knows its stuff, but that will continue to be willing to learn also on the intangible side of things.
Thank you so much, Benny. Please, a round of applause for Benny. So, Benny just touched on a representation of the market that we are trying to get into, right? The European market. And then he mentioned some points about some of the things that would definitely sell out to, for instance, his home country, a German market, right? You being able to articulate your ideas, you being able to express a problem, right? To explain it, right? So then all of these things are things that we are learning as we are on the journey to getting into the job market. So if we're talking about the learning journey into the job market, I'll shift to Prof, right? And then we're going to look at the representation on campus, right? From first year all the way through to the final year, what is happening within the university space that is preparing our students for the market outside there, so that when they get there and then they are speaking to that foreign client, they are able to articulate themselves, they are expressing themselves, they have the knowledge, they are able to prove that. What is happening within the university campus for us to get to that point?
Okay, so thank you. For us as a university, we model the students as a product. And I think other meetings that we've had, this is what I always say, that we always see the whole education system as a production pipeline. And the end product is the kind of student we want to see, or the kind of product we want to see. So we have processes that we take students through. And so We believe that there are some things that can be taught, there are some things that are caught through processes. So for us as a university, I mean, this is the Premier Science and Technology University, so you expect certain things. But you also have other kinds of students who are not really STEM, related. So at the university level, we have a digital skills, upscaling in program for those who are not within STEM. So my colleagues and our students in engineering may not know about this because it comes without saying. But then when it comes to engineering, because we also understand that one of the attributes in the project or in the final product as in the student we have to see is students who are socially aware, students who are aware of their communities, students who can impact communities. We have what we call engineering society right from in the first year. They go into the society, look at problems there, and then look at what they can use engineering, skills and other skills to solve. Usually, that's when they come out, really, they do not really have the full technical skills. But it's a process that is beginning to change the way they think as far as engineering design is concerned. Then when you come to the department, we are also aware that we have to meet the academic requirement. Of course, we are training students not just for the Ghanaian market, we are training students for the global market. So when you say computer engineering, there are some required courses that people must take so that they can be mobile across the globe. So with the academic side, we don't have a problem. And where we have a problem is the professional development. And so there we've also used strategic partnerships with almost all the big names to have academies around. We have Huawei, we have AWS Academy, we have Oracle, we have every kind of name you can think of. So at our place, we are trying to introduce these things into the curriculum. So for instance, those who do distributed systems, we use AWS in curriculum. Networking, we use things aligned to CCNA. And so as people develop their skills academically, they also become professionally aware. Now you can imagine that all these things also will create stress for the students. We also want to create students who are resilient. Okay, so in the global space, it demands people who are resilient. An opportunity can come under short notice. And so you can choose to say, I'm tired, and let the opportunity pass, or I will adapt. And so the students here who claim that, oh, we stress you, we do this, we do that, it's part of the process. Because we want to create a student who is what? Resilient. We also look at things with integrity and excellence and also innovation. So in our assessments, we look at these things. So one, we are made by the process. We have processes that imbibe these things into the students. And then we have laid down structures. Last but not the least, the university is also changing its traditional structures. Yesterday, we heard that one of the problems we have with industrial academia is that it's a man-made problem. We speak a different language. Industry also speaks a different language. So the university has started deliberate processes to break some of these things down. One of them is engaging industry people as adjuncts, lecturers, and professors. So very soon, in the next few years, you see Benny and the others in some of our classes taking some seminars in some maybe software engineering or network or database or whatever. These are some of the processes we are doing to ensure that the product that will come out, touches on all the expectations that we have in our product from an excellent university like ours. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Who is ready to see Benny in the classroom giving a seminar? Benny, you have a crowd here.
I'm scared. please no database or, don't throw me into a technical class because these guys hopefully know it way better than I do.
Guys, a round of applause for them, please. So the university is telling us that we are getting to the point where we are shifting from the regular that we are used to and then doing a collaboration between education and industry so that we are on the same space and then speaking the same language, right? So this is what the university is doing. We've heard from what industry wants. How about the student representation? How do we see the efforts of the university in the things that we are doing? So, yeah, if you could kindly help us, looking at all the things that have been said by faculty, by the university, how does this reflect for the student's body? Do you guys see the impact of it, and how is it visible for you?
Okay, so in terms of building your personal skills and having your own, how do I put it? Let me see, personal skills.
Yeah.
Dr. Kowa mentioned AWS, CCNA courses, and Oracle courses. I think those have been very, very helpful academically. And I think the major problem right now we have as students is in relation to internships. Right now, Tweek is helping with national service opportunities because we get to network with these amazing CEOs. But from second year through to third year, I think as we are expected to intern, and in third year too is compulsory. What I think the department does for us is it gives us recommendation letters, which are very helpful. But I think you have to go out into the job market and look for your own internship, and it's very competitive. So I think if the department had something like Tweek or a platform where getting internships as students was easier, it would be very helpful.
Yeah, which is part of the whole conversations that we're having today, because these are the reasons why the university as a body is engaging industry and engaging organizations like GIZ to be here today to speak to you, and then to bring the organizations that are going to end up absorbing you into the job market so that you are getting access to these things, right? Please, a round of applause for Nanaya. So these conversations go up to the point where I'm sure students are there and they're asking, so at the end of the day, when I come and I apply for the job, what do you want? What do you want to see? So I'm going to go back to industry, and then I'm going to ask for them to specifically let us know what are the things that they look out for in their hiring process, right? We heard about being able to express yourself. What other things are they looking out for, especially when it comes to the hiring process, right? So I'm going to defer to Sharaf in a bit on that. But before then, Benny, just so that the students over here understand what the job market is like, what is this thing we've been talking about the population, right? Europe versus Africa. There is something that people don't necessarily understand. And I think from a student perspective, maybe if they understood it, they would see what is going on a global scale. So could you give us an idea of what is going on the global scale in terms of population dimensions?
Wow, that's a tough ask. But very holistically, Europe is old, Ghana is young. Europe is rich, Ghana is poor. Europe is risk averse, Ghana is open. In essence, an ideal combination for outsourcing companies like Amalitech or ourselves. Having said that, right, it's going to be our job to prepare yourself for a situation where you are on a Teams call and you have 3 or 4 German, Swiss, whatever, clients on the same call that are punctual, obviously, that don't speak English as their first language, and they want you, and they're looking to you as an innovation expert. It's tough. It's competitive, right? That requires more than just technical skills. That requires you to simply switch on your camera. I hope that's part of your cultural training too. And I don't understand. We're on Teams call and all the cameras are switched off. Like, switch it on, right? Work your personal skill also. So when we are looking for talent, we are looking at, as Prof said, right, it's not a finished product, and we are very well aware, but we're looking for people that want to expose themselves in those competitive situations. For me as a co-founder of this company, right, it's usually an old white guy that doesn't speak English as well as you do, that has a job. You might be threatening the job because you're bringing a new, fresh perspective. And all of that is fair because, again, my country is lacking about 150 or maybe 200,000 IT professionals. Why? Because Germany is so old, right? And you're asking about statistics. 85 million people live in Germany, 35 million in this country. people under the age of 30 that are native in, using all kinds of tools, people under the age of 30, it's roughly the same number, 21 million in both countries, give and take. So where is the youth? Where is the new dependency that countries like Germany need to depend on for their continuous growth? It's not going to be in Europe, but it's here. But again, it requires you to be punctual, switch on your camera, and be aware that you need to do a job that goes beyond the technical side of things.
Thank you very much, Benny. So I am guessing some of the students here are already feeling the heat, especially when it comes to turning on your cameras, especially when you have online classes. Prof, I'm sure they don't like turning on their cameras when they're having online classes. So this is one of the requirements that most organizations that you are going to be working with would require from you. You being able to put yourself well in presentation, physically and verbally, whilst you are speaking to your clients, whilst you are working for people, right? But then again, I'm going to shift to Sharaf. So what are the things that you look out for? Benny mentioned some of them, but what are the things that you look out for in your hiring process when you are looking for the people that you're going to employ?
Look, the honest truth is your passion to learn. In reality, I mean, what we have to understand is that technology and the way things are moving is not static. So I won't come and sit here and primarily indicate that you need to have skill A or skill B or skill C. The dynamic can actually change tomorrow. I mean, right now, almost 30 to 60% of repetitive tasks are being taken care of by AI. So tell me why you are important. Tell me why I should employ you. So I would want people who have the ability to think about, for example, AI as a tool to augment their work. So you can't come and tell me, Brainla, come and basically define what programming and everything means. You need to give me reason that you are very proactive, you are adaptable, you can quickly change expertise at a glance using the tools available to you. And this is, for me, one most important skill I will always look out for. I mean, taking your programs, I always say that what the universities always provide to me is very, very important. For example, if you take programs like, I don't know if this department does something like system analysis and design, or even data structures and algorithm, that many people would think that it is totally obsolete. It's totally wrong. Because this, to me, is the foundation, understanding the engineering behind what you are doing. So when you understand this engineering, then I don't really care that you have the skill in the number of programming languages that I basically mentioned, or the frameworks and everything. To be honest, I can basically sit and vibe code with ChatGPT right now to develop a very big software that I don't need to be a super expert in React or Vue. I basically can do that. So the question is, how easy can you also utilize these tools? You can only do that if you understand the foundation of engineering. What kind of prompts can you even put out there? Because if you understand things like, I mean, we call UML for a reason, Unified Modeling Language for a reason, because it's totally unified. It is not programming, it is not individual, it's not specific to anything. It's just understanding the abstract engineering behind programs or products. And you can easily translate this into any tool readily available to you. So for me, once again, it's your ability to learn. How proactive are you? How do you think? How critical are you? I mean, I was basically talking to Benny right after the meeting. One of the things that we seriously consider, how do you question things? If you are in a meeting with me and you feel like I'm your boss, so hey, I don't have to. I mean, even if many people have basically asked many people or decided not to employ so many people because of this kind of things I see during the interview.
We like to do yes sir, yes sir.
I would like, yes sir is basically something that would tip me off. No, I don't like that. It's like you are so much eager for the job. But be able to question some of the questions I'm basically asking or the clarification I seek. Maybe perhaps that your ideas are better than the way I was thinking about the issue. Because I give you a particular code base, I ask you to refactor for me. I have my own way I would have refactored. that doesn't mean yours is not super unique. So ability to be able to do that and articulate these ideas to me, you will stand out. So once again, don't scare me. You can't scare me with whatever technologies that you have learned or whatever skills that you have learned. But building on top of the things that you have studied in the university, like the system analysis, the data structures, you are positioned in a way that you can utilize several tools available to you to augment the work that you intend to do to be successful to the clients. And that is all what I'm looking out for. So for me, all the advice I'll continuously give is this ability to learn, know that the technology field is not static, it's quite open, and every day you are learning new technologies, every day you are. Let me give you one super example, quick one before I end this on this topic. So a client reached out somewhere I think 2 weeks ago, and they wanted us, there is already a legacy code in C++. And the client wanted us to refactor the C++ code. In fact, they want us to write a unit test to test the code base because the code lacked unit testing throughout almost 100%. There wasn't anything around unit. And I basically gave out a proposal to the client that this would take like 8 months for us to complete. And I billed the clients based on the 8 months. This is to you, please don't take it away. And I billed a client for our 8 months work. But then when I took a step back, I basically ran it in my code pilots and everything. And could you imagine that within 1 hour, I was able to achieve the results that I told the client that I was going to use 8 hours to do. And the client doesn't know that the work has actually been completed because I actually need to bill the client that I'm still working and taking the money, but the work is actually done. So to me, it's how smart you are utilizing these tools and knowing being super adaptive. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause.
That is why you're here now, right? Because you freed yourself. No, that's wonderful. I fully agree with everything you said. I would like to add one more thing. We are looking for you to be aware of the new stuff, right? How to utilize tools that are available. But also, we just finished a training program with this very university about SAP, old stuff, legacy. I think if one of you knows COBOL, you're probably going to be a millionaire in 5 years. Point being is, most organizations that we work with that are big organizations, they run on legacy systems. Some of them as old as 45 years. Whatever we do will have to be integrated or will have to complement what is already there. So it is super important for you to know about the new stuff. Do not completely forget about the old stuff, because at a certain point in time in our project, we will be asked to integrate into existing legacy processes and systems. And for that, it is needed and necessary for us to do stuff like SAP and RPA that we did with this university. Great talent, by the way, that we found there. So new is important, but also the global north is running on IT since ever. And if we want to change this, then we need to understand what we're changing, and that can be old stuff also.
Thank you so much, Benny, for adding on to that. So just as Benny had said, there's been a lot of talk about AI and then all the things that can happen. So quickly, Benny, on the spot, there is this new concept about an AI hub that we've been hearing about. Could you briefly just tell us about this, and then how students, if at all, can get benefits from this as and when this happens?
No, it's a secret. No, of course. The idea of the AI hub, and we discussed it, is simple. We believe that we need to bring an AI ecosystem together. So also Malitech and ourselves, we are discussing, it's not a 4th hour on a Malitech or private company X initiative. It needs to be a non-for-profit ecosystem initiative that brings together students, startups, university, private companies, NGOs, international companies that might already have an innovation hub here, and I'm looking at the gentleman from Heidelberg Material, to facilitate a technology that we believe at fourth industrial revolution will change a lot of, will help us solve a lot of more use cases. will create more wealth, especially here in a young country. So the idea of the AI hub, location-wise, we're thinking about Kumasi and Accra, is to bring this entire ecosystem together. Big players, smaller players, startup, outsourcing organizations, but also money, VC funds. That's the idea behind it. We're in the initial stages of our discussion, and we hope to make progress fast. And yeah, so this is our idea. Thank you for asking, by the way.
Thank you very much. So guys, look out for the AI hub that is going to be coming up. It's going to be an interesting ecosystem build-up for the concept of AI, for the conversations around AI, because I'm sure a lot of you hear about AI, and you're wondering, how do we even get into this space? What do we do to make this happen? Most of these companies are already using this, or they're already building up to it, but it's up to you to find the positioning where you are going to benefit properly from this. Please, a round of applause for my panelists today. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this conversation, and thank you for spending the time. You can take your seats. Please, louder for them as they exit. So the Technology Week continues, and we are going to have more conversations. We are going to have more fun. At this moment, I would hand over to the MC, Michael MC, Benny. Please, a round of applause for her.
Hello. That was a very insightful conversation. I'm sure we all learned a lot on how to shape ourselves for the job market. So next on our program is the plenary session, the Tech Founders Journey, Insights from CEOs. We will be having a number of CEOs up here to speak with us on their journeys in order to inspire all of us. So first off, we will have Arnold Giovanni Andor from Heidelberg Materials Digital Hub. The next speaker we will be having is George Appiah from Solar Taxi. Okay, he's not here yet. So we'll move on to Sam Ejedu from Axel MD. Right. And finally, Mr. Samuel Abuaji from Wheezy Innovation Hub and Hackathon Pitching and Awards. Okay. So, I'll have my seat as well. So, I'd like to give a brief introduction on the panel members that we have over here right now. So, Mr. Samuel Abuaji is a serial entrepreneur and digital marketer and a leadership educator passionate about transforming Africa through innovation and skills development. He has over 15 years of experience and has launched tech hubs and training platforms, all while empowering startups and professionals with digital leadership skills for the 21st century. Let's have a round of applause. We also have Mr. Samni Ejedu, who is a fusion thinker and an AI design strategist, advancing healthcare equity in Africa through ethical, human-centered innovation. As a co-founder of Axel MD, he leverages AI to transform preventive care, early detection, and health engagement through literacy, lifestyle insights, and visual intelligence. Let's have another round of applause. Right. So, I don't want to ramble on for too long, but I hope I got everything. Did I miss anything? Right, so we'll start off quickly. What? I don't have too long. What? I don't have too long of one by him, so you can introduce yourself briefly as well.
I think at this point I am very well known all over. My name is Arnold Giovanni Andor, Managing Director of the Heidelberg Materials Digital Hub. I have been in the industry for 13 years and I'm continuing, so basically that's it.
Okay, amazing. So the first question I'll have for you all is to briefly describe your journey starting up your organizations.
All right, so
how did I start what we are doing? I graduated here as a designer, and I started helping companies in various sectors. And as we were working, I realized that I need to help those that come to me in a higher level. So, starting as an average individual entrepreneur, I realized that no, in order to serve a lot of people, I need to be serious about what I'm doing in terms of making it a business, real business. So yes, I started Graduated Like You. And in 2012, I knew I was going to start my own business, but I didn't have the confidence to do that. So I had just one person following me for a very long time. That's what I want to share in this particular question. So this person followed me for about 9 years, and it was just the two of us running design contracts, design projects. And it was like, will it work or we'll have to stop? But 2018, something happened, and that opened new doors for us. And 3 years ago, we also had the opportunity to venture into digital solutions, and that has opened bigger doors for us. So from just one person following you, doing all the things, then boom, you are like 18 people at a go. So the core of how I've gotten to this place is to serve those that are very close to me and see how to scale the solutions I'm giving to them, and to more of give them what they are not looking for. And that opened doors for me. It's been difficult, but the reality is that I've enjoyed it throughout, especially when I had just one person following me. It was fun, and it was like, will it happen or will it not happen? But here we are. So this is how my journey has been. Yeah.
Round of applause, please.
All right, so when I completed, in fact, when I was in the university, I was already doing entrepreneurship, so it wasn't new for me. Way back in 2006, 2007, I took advantage of events like this. So by the time I completed the university, a group of friends and myself, we had our first funding from a man who was an MP who recently died. He funded us to the tune of $5,000, and this is way back in 2010, 2009, 2010. So we actually started our first IT company. But 2 years down the line, I think it went under. So I had my first lessons in running an IT business. And then I moved on to work most of my time doing online work, digital freelancing for a very long time, and which was good. The first car I ever bought in my life was money I earned working online, purely. And this was the period where internet was not available like we see today. This was the period where if you went into a classroom, 95% of the people didn't have laptops. I was working from internet cafes. If you had to take a bank card, a debit card, my first debit card, I got it from Zenith Bank. They had to print it from Egypt, and it took 1 month for me to get it. Today, you can get a debit card instantly, right? So the era of the internet was not very ubiquitous as we see today. But I had always believed that if there is a will, there is always a way. For example, I was working online, and in Ghana, you can't have access to PayPal. Do you know that? and PayPal was virtually the only means of payment. But if I tell you how I went about still receiving money for work that I did, it will amaze you. What I did essentially was that at a point, I had to buy Bitcoins way back. I had to buy Bitcoins, then I sell the Bitcoins, then I get money into a PayPal. It's a very cumbersome process. But the point is that if there is a will, there is always a way. I did that for a long time. And we decided teaching people how to work online with their skills. Then, along the line, we started training people and got involved in setting up an innovation hub. So after about a year or two, I got drafted in an EU-funded project. They also wanted to set up an innovation hub. So I needed to help them do the setup. I went in to do that. I did that for 3 years. I left. Then I started my training and consultancy, which later became an innovation hub, which is an innovation hub today called Wheezy Innovation Hub. So what we essentially do is that we train young people. We give them digital and tech skills. Tech skills so they can start their businesses, not just tech skills, tech and business skills. Then also digital skills so they can work online. At the moment, we are training like 200 women, and the program is funded by the MasterCard Foundation. So we are training them. We are giving them 3 months of training plus internship. Then we support them to get jobs. And out of about every 40 ladies we train, at least 30 out of the 40, they get jobs. And we've been doing this since last year. And it's in Kumasi right here. Only that we are running our last cohort. Hopefully in the subsequent years, we are going to run a lot more programs. So that's what I've been up to.
Amazing.
Maybe along the line, I'll also share my tech journey with you, the ventures I've been into, and how we also advise tech startups and what has come out of that. Thank you.
All right. So for me, basically, I have been in the industry, the cement industry, starting from 2009, let me say. So right after university, I found myself in Gasem as a national service personnel. Until 2011, I got a job as an IT officer. So between 2011 and 2017, I was based in Takrade. Okay, but as we sit here, you see, there's something behind the scene that we are not talking about. There is no magic elevator to this category, to be an MD or to be a CEO. Okay. For the past days, we have been talking about innovations, technology, coding, hackathons. But behind all these, there are things that we built on. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't in a day. So that myth of overnight MD and MCEO is a no-no. It's not there. Okay. Early this morning, I prepared some presentations. I thought I was going to have a whole presentation, so I made some presentations down, but I will skip it. What you have to know is we have been in your position before. We sat where you are sitting now. We failed exams. We wrote clingy quotes. But you see, we didn't only bounce back, we bounced forward. All right, so from 2017, there was a new organization in Africa, in our organization. So they were trying to decentralize the IT organization. Initially, it was sitting in Germany. So what it means is, if you need any support, if you need any digital implementation, you have to raise a request to Germany. So just imagine, I mean, all the regions, Africa, EMEA, Northern America, Eastern, Western Europe, sending tickets to one department in Germany. So there was this strategy to decentralize the department. All right, so Africa, we're going to set up. I was fortunate, there were 2 positions. And I'm telling this story to also build on some points you can learn from. So there were 2 positions in our organization in the area of network and infrastructure. We call it foundation services. And then in the area of ERP and software implementation, we call it digital workplace. So in the period of 2011 to 2017, I was doing more of infrastructure stuff, Cisco engineering, server installation infrastructure. And on the interview, I applied for foundation services. I joined the call, and I mean, in the first instance, the manager said, sorry, we don't need you in foundation services. We want to advertise you in digital workplace. I mean, I wasn't prepared, I wasn't ready. It wasn't an area for me. Prior to the interview, I had spent time, money to engage a CCNA tutor to take me through some topics. And here I am, you are telling me you take me to digital workplace. Series of interviews, story short, I took up the role. Less than 2 years down the line, there was another room to further move me to a managerial level. It was a challenge, okay, because if 5 or 10 years back you had asked me, I was going to tell you I want to build competence in the area of technical skills. But in a very short term, it was escalating. All right, so I took this role, and I was super comfortable, IT business engagement manager, liaising with all the 8 African countries, sub-Saharan countries, plus Egypt, Morocco, a bit of Turkey and Israel. I was very comfortable. Less than 2 years down the line, Group IT says, all right, we need to deep dive into Africa market and see if we can have a software implementation hub. Okay, Arnold, would you take the role? I mean, again. And it was going to be a proof of concept. So it means I had to let go of my comfortable role and then take this role. Should I fail in the role? I mean, nothing is promised. My role is, my previous role is already occupied. So what happens? I took the role. I was given a budget to hire 6 engineers, which I did. I was given my first concept to build a yard management system. We are talking about a dispatch application, okay, cement dispatch application. Thankfully, we were able to build the application successfully, rolled out in all the 8 sub-Saharan countries. Then there was also a need finally to say, okay, I mean, once you've done this, then we should register your entity or your organization as a full entity under Heidelberg Materials. That was what actually brought me to my role as a managing director. Earlier on, I was going to talk about the fact that we've been talking all these days, tech languages, innovations, technical builds. But this morning, I want to finish my journey by saying that there was something that set us apart. We kept building, not just applications, okay? But we built character, we built resilience, and then we were very curious. I want to believe that my colleagues will agree with me. Thank you.
Okay, those were very insightful journeys, and I think what I heard from all of them is basically we should always be up for a challenge and we should always be evolving in order to make sure that we succeed in whatever we choose to do. So the next thing that I'd like to ask all of you is, we're all students here, we've all had ideas sometimes, and we don't know if we should go for it. So I want to know if there's been any moment when you had an idea and you thought to yourself, this idea is worth pursuing, I have to do it. And how did you go about executing that?
Okay, maybe I'll take this. There have been so many moments like that, especially if you come across naturally as an entrepreneur. A lot of ideas. And as my colleague rightly shared, I mean, I had a few points that I wanted to share with you, so maybe I'll just drop one. I was going to talk about things that you should not be tempted to do as a tech entrepreneur. There are so many things that will call for your attention that you'll be tempted to do, but you should not be tempted to do them. One of them, I mean, this may be counterintuitive. One of them is building or innovating ahead of the market or your generation. Let me explain. In 2016-17, I built a tech startup. It was called Shopper City. The idea was that it was essentially grocery shopping on an app, right? And we spent over 1 year investing a lot of our time building this. But what I realized later was that it was an idea which was ahead of its generation, because many people were still not used to the culture of shopping, right? More so shopping on an app. So this is an idea that I could swear by everything. I could swear with my life that it was going to work. But after a year, close to 2 years, I saw that maybe we're in the market too early. And if you are starting, and sometimes if you are in the market too early, you may not have the funds to sustain it. But if you have the funding, sometimes you can sustain. Let me give you an example. How many of you know Indomie? Indomie. I like it. It's one of my staples. I remember way back in the around 2000, 2001. That was when I completed senior secondary school. Now, I mean, when we were growing up, we didn't know anything like that. What we knew was Thalia. When you buy wache or anything, like I took my wache this morning, I got Thalia and Gary. That's what we knew. But then there was Indomie. And for 5 to 10 years, Ghanaians, because the idea of eating that kind of meal as a main meal was not known to a Ghanaian tongue. So what Indomie would do is that they will go to primary schools, then they will cook and provide for them for free. And they did that for a very long time. Today, we don't remember. Maybe you are young. If you are born in the 2000s, 90s, you may not know. But it wasn't something we used to know, right? But they had the funding, so they kept at it over and over and over till the time that we developed the taste for Indomie. So sometimes when you are building a startup, if you don't have the funds, you may not be able to do it consistently until the market has the taste for it. So the point I want to make is that, I mean, we've all failed before. Nice idea, you know it would work. You get to the market, you see the market is not ready, or sometimes you are not ready.
That's a great answer.
Okay, so the question is about what you guys are to learn from our experience in terms of
making the decision, taking the step. I would want to go back a bit. So 2012, when we graduated, I was raised in Cape Coast, and I came to school here. And I remember I was being interviewed out there by Focus FM. And then when they asked me what am I going to do, I said I was going to start my business. I had an idea. I was training my colleagues. So I was going to convert it into being a TA and training some of the students. So I said I was going to start my business. The first challenge, can you guess? The first challenge was about location. Location. I think one of the key things in real estate business is location. So they have this statement they make, location, location, location. I did not know then that IT will open doors and it was going to sort of expand the reach of the skills that we have. But then, my first challenge was to convince my parents that I was going to be in Kumasi to do design. I mean, think about it. You are here. You have some of business leaders here. And then, whilst on campus, third year, you work for a business in Accra. And all of a sudden, you became their creative director. And then they promised you then that they were going to pay you 2,500, 2012. And then they'll give you an apartment in Accra. And then they'll give you a driver that'll be bringing you to their office. And I told my parents this and was like, go. And I said, no, I'm not going. I know some of you actually would want to make decisions from your parents. It's a good thing. But I felt within me that I have to walk a journey that not everybody believes in. And that is one of the key things that if you're going to start something, you need to have. No one is going to see what you are seeing. No one. That's the reality. Even your team people that you are leading will not see it the way you will see it. So the proof of what you're going to do is you being the believer of that idea. And if you become the believer of that idea, then you have, one way or the other, won the race before the race starts. Why am I saying this? You know, currently, we have 4IR here, a German trying to, export talent, and that's a good thing, because Europe, in terms of labor, according to some of the consulting firms, McKinsey actually, their labor is going to go down. Africa's youth will be the global source for labor. And so he's ahead. So there are no barriers when it comes to location. I didn't know that, give or take, about 13 years ago. But I thought that if I'm able to start here, if I'm able to understand and follow a person that I was going to serve, something would come out of it. And the surprising thing is that, you know, as we started our business in Kumasi, about 80% of our clients were in Accra. And then those clients that we had were multinational companies. So you are based in Kumasi, Bomso, and you were serving top global companies because of what you had to offer. So the point I'm making here is that if you believe that something within you is a gut feeling that you should start something, one of the critical things that you need to do is not even to focus on the numbers. They are not really important from the beginning. Majority of the time, you are afraid to start because your numbers do not match up. But you have to understand that nobody here, like if you're listening to him, even going for a position, he had to go and pay something for him to be taught. None of us here really knew what was ahead of us. So if you would want to start something, the boldness to say that I want to do it and I want to do it here is that you are accepting the consequences of your personal journey. Your parents have their journeys. Your bosses will have their journeys. You will have to personally decide that this is what I want to do. In our business, I called my team members, plenty of us, and I told them, we are investing our own resources to start what we're doing. We're not going for funding first, because normally in Africa, we go for the funding, and the real problem is not solved because we are just interested in the money. So I said that we are making the decision to change how things can be done in Africa, and we are going to bear the consequences of it. So if you are investing a lot of our resources, and eventually we have to sacrifice our daily meals to solve a problem that eventually will feed many people, it's our personal choice. For me, that's business. You need to have that personal decision-making spirit. No one is going to believe in you. No one. I mean, if you are married here and you're a business leader, your wife won't believe in you. You have to convince your wife. If you're a woman, your husband will not believe in you. You would have to convince your husband. How do you do that? To take steps that will make people afraid. But you are doing it afraid, but you are doing it. And that will rally a lot of people. Normally you are afraid people won't follow. People won't become part of what you are doing. But when you believe in that, when you believe that this thing is going to work, that's when people can buy in and follow you. Right?
Thank you. Round of applause, please.
Oh, all right. So let me bring you a different perspective, and let me try and simplify it. So you have an idea, okay? You want to shape this idea into a tangible product. Taking lessons from my organization, you know, it's a German organization, and they are very pragmatic. You don't just raise AFE and you get approval for whatever you want to do. So in this case, you have an idea, okay? And as young as you are, first, put the idea on a paper, okay? Put it on a paper. Sometimes you get the idea and then you rush to implement. I'm taking lessons from, you know, I've been on the project defense for the past days, and you guys have wonderful ideas and project topics, okay? But most of you would not take time to research into the project topic. This is very important. So once you have the idea, research. You can do, it's taught in school, do your SWOT analysis, look into the market. Is it going to be a feasible product? Who are going to be my customers? Okay. To a larger extent, look at you as the product owner. When you are writing the business case, what is the return of investment for you? What is the return of the future? Okay, so we are talking about the value over a period of time. What is the return of people of that product? How is this suit or product going to be feasible, reasonable, relevant, okay, to your customers? So take time. It's good you have the ideas. Put them on a paper. Make your research. Do your investigations. Check the return of investment, whatever it is. And then you know, at a point you get the confidence that, okay, I need to go for this product. Okay, so you take your time when you have the ideas. All right.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. So these are amazing answers we got from them. I think what we should all take away from these is we should be the #1 believer in all of our ideas. But first of all, we need to be diligent in our planning, and we need to know the market space in order to even go ahead with it. So the final question that I would have for all of you is, we are working in the tech field, and the tech field is one that advances very quickly. So I want to know how you go about adopting new technologies that come up. How do you assess the risk of moving on with a new technology or staying with a tried and true method that you already used? Did you understand?
Yeah, I think I'll start from the perspective of as a person and then moving it to how we do things in the office.
Okay.
I'm a very curious person. So the only thing I have not tried that curiosity on is food. But apart from that, I'm curious. So I want to find out what this tool has to offer. And I want to be part of the first people to question it. I want to be part of the first people that will understand it. I want to be part of the first people that will be able to leverage it. So, 11 years ago, I signed up on LinkedIn. And then Facebook was what was up. And I was busy doing the business, moving about, doing all the things that I had to do. So last year, when I wanted to now begin leveraging my LinkedIn, I went to study. I downloaded books on LinkedIn and how people have used it to build big businesses. Then I realized that 11 years ago, I did not understand what LinkedIn is. And those that understood it, those that leveraged it, those that picked it up, are far ahead in terms of their business development using LinkedIn than those of us that are now catching up. You know, people are making millions of dollars on LinkedIn because of their thought leadership. What am I trying to say? I realize that when you are not able to question something, you miss the opportunity to leverage it. When you're able to investigate it, understand why it exists, and see how it can be applied in what you are doing, then you can take advantage of it. So the business that we are developing, the solution that we are building, there is a company hosted in Germany, Ada. So Ada Health has been in the health business for a while. And they came up with a tool that uses artificial intelligence. And you know, artificial intelligence crave, this wave just started going this way, 2023, 2024, 2025. But Ada Health did this business years back in Europe. So they've captured the entire Europe. What am I saying? If you are able to move in the moment, you'll be able to maximize your opportunity. The way to move in the moment is not to collapse the fundamentals, but to get to understand the fundamentals in the moment. So let's look at artificial intelligence. Let me use artificial intelligence as an example. In Africa, internet is something that is expensive. Access is expensive. And there are models of artificial intelligence that we can get to where we can create solutions that could work offline. Now, how did we get to understand that we could actually use artificial intelligence offline to help Africans? We were questioning it because we are using the solution in our office. Because we are questioning the solution, then we can think around it and get to see the opportunities it offers so we can leverage it and convert the value it offers into something useful. So because I am curious, that is the first thing, I want to question it. I want to question it. If there is driverless car, I want to question what is going on. What is in the mind of the car? Can I use that in shaping the people at the office? So whereas you may want to be very conservative when it comes to new solutions, I would want to be part of the early adopters. Why? Why? Because I'm a business leader. We are talking about entrepreneurship, innovation. We are talking about business leadership. The reason why I would want to question a new solution, the reason why I would want to see the opportunities it offers is that I'm a business leader. And because we are in business and the competition is wild, I need to know what it offers. If I knew what LinkedIn was offering 11 years ago, I'm sure I will not be doing what I'm doing now. Because I know how to speak, I know how to write, I know how to inspire people. I would have used that to make money. But I didn't understand the model then. If you understand what AI has to offer, you will not sit back, you will question it, leverage the opportunities that it offers. Thank you.
Round of applause.
All right. So in considering new tech solutions, again, I'll bring you perspectives from the organization. Now, we think of sustainability, okay? You want to enhance your productivity. You want to implement some tech solutions. Is it sustainable? Sometimes we rush to implement whatever solutions we want to. Where I am coming from, again, as I mentioned before, you do a business case, look at the value over a longer period of time, not the very short term. So consider sustainability, consider its efficiency, okay? We are considering centralizing plant control for the whole of Africa in my hub. So what we are basically going to do is we will connect all the mailing system, all the devices, and then we will control them from my hub. Is it sustainable? Is it a good business case? What is the business making out of it as Heidelberg Materials? What are the subsidiaries going to make out of it? For example, GASEM, if I have to close their control room, merge it with other countries, and then control it from my hub, okay? So we consider efficiency of all this. We consider the cost into this. Does it make sense? These are some of the questions we need to, and sometimes you also need to catch up with technology. We are a cement manufacturing company. We are selling product to the market. What are your competitors doing? Are they using the current technology to sell? Do they have any competitive advantage? Can you make a benchmark? So these are few things that we consider in new tech solutions.
Thank you. Round of applause.
Okay, so let me also add from another perspective. The question is, how do you balance new technology, right, or trendy technology with existing ones? Should you focus more on what you've been doing or what is coming new? Essentially, that's the question. I think if you are in the tech space, this can be a very difficult thing. Because on the one hand, you want to keep up with technology. But the temptation is that in doing that, you are always chasing the next shiny, trendy tech, solution around, right? There is what we call shiny object syndrome. You don't want to get into that, right? But there has to be a fine balance. If you also say that, well, I learned code with, I was taught C++ or any of the old programming languages, and that's what I'm doing. That's all I am getting stuck with. You know that you are going to be left behind. So balancing is a very, very important one. This is how I would suggest you go about it. You really need to decide what you want, and you commit yourself to study. Maybe 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. You master an area. Then you work with it. So you concentrate on that area for about 80% of your time. Then the rest of the 20%, you just catch up with what is going on. So there is a foundation. But what I've realized is that most people are building businesses with no foundation. They just hear the next available opportunity. Then they hop onto it. They become grasshopper entrepreneurs. Hopping onto the next available opportunity. Oh, I've heard now it's AI. Oh, I've heard now it is what? IoT. I've heard now it is that. You won't be able to succeed, right? You have to be consistent with one thing. So ask yourself, for me, what is that one thing? What is that one language, programming language I want to learn and master? Then all the others will revolve around that. If you don't do that, you will be moving on from one trend to the other, and without any foundation. And in the ecosystem where I find myself, there are a lot of people like that. Again, we call some people pitchpreneurs. They are not entrepreneurs, they are pitchpreneurs. They have developed the art of pitching. So they hear that there is funding, they go and pitch. They hear there is funding, then they go and pitch. I like what he said. The fact that they decided that they are going to build with their own resources. And that's where most young people get it wrong. Because we are moving on to the next available opportunity, right? But if you can look within and build something that is solid, then the rest will revolve around. There was this program that we were involved with MEST Africa. So there were entrepreneurs that we were supporting. They were being trained in Accra once a week. They were in Kumasi. We got the entrepreneurs for them. I think about 50% of them came from KNUST. Now, the deal was that when they are not in Accra, these were entrepreneurs not at the idea stage. It was an acceleration program. So essentially, they are in business, right? The idea was that once a week, they will be in Accra, but 3 weeks, once a month, they will be in Accra for 1 week. Then the 3 weeks, they will be in Kumasi. Then in Kumasi, they will use our hub because they are running business, but they don't have space. So we're providing facility for them. And can you believe that none of the startups stepped at our hub? They were not coming. What we realized was that they were so busy that they were traveling and pitching, but no time to build a business that they said they are running. Right. So you can move on to one thing to the other, one thing to the other. Whether it's a new skill, whether it's a new opportunity, whether it's a new idea, just decide that, okay, this is what I want to do. Commit yourself to it. The others will come, they will go. You still need to catch up. So in my organization, I have about 2 people that I think with. More like they are direct, they report directly to me. Now what we do is that for the whole of the year, they haven't even brought any income. I met with my management the last time, and they were like, we are just looking at our staffing. We are about a staff of 12 or so. But there are these 2 people, they are not bringing income the whole of the year. Then I told them that it is true. But as the business is very much involved in current projects, you also need a team which is exploring other opportunities, so that by the time our portfolio of projects round up, you have something else doing. In fact, there was a year that only 2 of our staff, these 2 people, the whole entire year, our survival depended on them, because they were bringing in money from jobs, gigs that we had gotten online and without any projects. Right? So these are people that it's more like a small innovation department within the organization. So whilst we are sweating and tiring for our daily bread, we also have a team that is exploring and seeing what is happening, what's the next trend. Right? So again, it's the balance. If you don't balance it and you say that, okay, let's go and do this, let's go and do that, there is no core. There has to be a core. And then part of the time too is devoted to anything else that will let you survive for the future.
Let's give a round of applause. Amazing answers. I think the answers we've received from them have been incredibly informative, but we have the time for a question or 2 from the crowd if you have any. Do you have any questions for them? All right. No questions, I believe. I'm sorry? Oh.
Okay, so my question is I forgot your name, but the man in the blue, yeah. So you mentioned something about pitchpreneurs, right? It's giving a team who have the aspiration to build a business, but they lack focus. How do you prevent, as an aspiring entrepreneur, you get so many ideas to the extent that like you want to do so many things at once. How do you refine your focus and give your business some sort of direction so that you don't become a pitchpreneur?
Yeah, I mean, it's a temptation. I think it boils down to discipline. Discipline. There are a lot of ideas that I have, but I'm like, have you finished what you are building? You know, then I'm like, okay, let me just tame myself a bit. So essentially, it's trying to bring discipline to your life and saying that, okay, so this is what I want to do. In the next 1 or 2 years, I want to focus on this. I want to build this. Opportunities will come, but if the discipline is not there and you don't have the focus, you will always be swayed. So I would say that bottom line. And unfortunately for entrepreneurs, it can happen if you are typical natural entrepreneurs. What entrepreneurs like doing is that they see idea, they get excited. They want to get it in motion. But the management of it is boring to them. So now they want to move on to something else. So if you don't take care, you'll be moving on from one thing to the other without building anything in your life. So what others do, people like Elon Musk, what they do is that he's an ideator, an idea person, thinking of what we call moonshoot ideas, right? So he thinks, but he has a solid team who will manage the business when he has set it up, when he set up Tesla, when he set up all the organizations that he does. So again, you should know yourself. If you are the one who just comes out with the idea, but you find it very difficult to manage it, you need to work with a team or people who, there are people who will not ideate, but they can manage and manage very well. So knowing your personality is very important. Then whoever you form a partnership or team with, that also will help you do that. Otherwise, I mean, you end up becoming a pitchpreneur.
Round of applause, please. Let's give a round of applause.
I want to add to what he's saying in a different way. So in Ghana here, we don't have plenty entrepreneurs. I want us to understand that we have solopreneurs, right? So I was listening to Swanika, a Ghanaian who is building massive stuff in Africa years back. And whilst at the business school, we're being taught e-commerce. And it made me understand how entrepreneurs manage complexities. So in Ghana, everybody that is trying to do something small that generates resource automatically says they are entrepreneurs. I want us to understand this definition. An entrepreneur's daily management is not just an individual trying to sell maybe an orange on the street. We need to understand that, because if we seek to be entrepreneurs, there has to be a system built that we are managing on a larger scale. And that requires a certain patience and pivot. You need to understand that in order to build, you need to pivot. You see, I have a lot of ideas. I can listen to all of your ideas, like you were saying, and try to make it bigger for you. That's my mind. That's how I am. But I realize that I am not solving any problem. I'm not solving any problem. I'll be making money, but I'm not solving any problem. So I got to understand that I need to solve a problem and build a house on that problem as a solution. And that is when my heart opened for entrepreneurship, where now you are not afraid to bring in a lot of people to come and own the thing with you. Because you can't just be one person, try to get 50,000 Ghana cedis and say you're an entrepreneur. We need to understand deeply these words we are using, so that by understanding the spirit of these words, we'll also be ready to invest in our journeys. So your question, what I'm trying to let you see is that the reason why people jump, the reason why people, because I have experienced it, is because they have not pivoted a problem that they are so dedicated in solving. And if you want to solve the problem on a larger scale, you need to pivot, and it's going to take a longer time. And it does not start by just going around pitching. It doesn't. It doesn't. You don't go around pitching to people to get money, because you need metrics for an investor to invest in your resource, like your project. The core idea is, what do you want to solve? And if you're going to solve it on a larger scale, something must be built on it. A system ought to be built on it. If all of us say that we've stopped KNUST, KNUST is not going to collapse. It's not, because there is a system. Something has been built. And that takes a longer time. It does not take moving from chasing after $50,000, $100,000. No, it's more than that. And when my eyes were open to that, I said, it's going to take me 20 years to be an entrepreneur. Think about that. So you won't be in a rush pitching. It's going to take me 20 years to really be called an entrepreneur. I told my brother-in-law, I will be okay if I'm 55 and I am now being called an entrepreneur. Why? You have to build a system. Entrepreneurs run systems. And that's what we lack in Africa. Systems. You need to build a system, manage it with a lot of people, serve a lot of people. Then you are creating value, socio-economic value for plenty people. Thank you.
Let's run a final round of applause. Thank you very much for your amazing insights. You've been very informative, and this has been an amazing panel discussion. Thank you. I'm sorry. So we'll be moving on with the next item on our program.
Araba, there are some people at the door. Go and tell them I have traveled to Russia.
Yes, Daddy.
Where's your father?
My father said I should tell you he has traveled to Russia.
Your father has killed me. I sent him money from America to complete my house for me.
Are all student association contributions?
Even the money from the fundraiser for Kweku's surgery.
Oh! He too? Don't be a victim. If you're contributing to a project, alumni dues, or any public campaign, Chango is your best choice. Chango keeps track of all donations and gives you the power to know exactly where the money goes. Chango is approved by Bank of Ghana. Call 0270-066-614 or visit changoapp.com for more information.
Uncle, my father is hiding under the bed.
Oh, Araba.
Chango for your groupings and crowdfunding.
Okay, so this is an IoT device, an IoT extension board It is basically supposed to give a user or a consumer the ability to control his or her extension boards remotely. Most of the time, as people, we leave our houses and sometimes we forget that we left sockets on, we left devices connected to sockets not turned off. So you can't come back and then come and turn it off. Maybe you may be busy at work or something. So having a device such as this will give you the opportunity to turn it off remotely via an app that we have as a counterpart to the device. So how it works is it uses 4 relay modules to control each of the sockets. We have linked one of the relay modules to the bulb so that when we turn it on, users can see that yes, it's really working. Okay, and then it also has a current sensor. Now the current sensor feeds information to the app so that the user can know how much power or how much energy they are consuming at every point in time. So those are basically the components that make up and then also a fuse to protect it from surges and overcurrents.
So we have the SmartX, we have a manual override, and we have a mobile app. So the manual override is when you are close to your extension board and you don't have your phone around and you just want to use it as an ordinary extension board. So that you can have, we have these switches to control the turn on and off of the various components of the extension board. So you can see as I turn them on, the various components goes off, and as I turn them on, they go on as well. But if you are far away and you want to control your extension board, if you forgot to do something with your extension board, you can actually turn them off and on.
The Office of Grants and Research, KNUST.
Since I wanted to read an engineering course, KNUST was the only other option. Yes. And so I just applied, and then by God's grace I got it. I chose computer engineering mainly because I'm a big fan of technology. I'm fun, like I like technology, like the idea of being able to build something that combines design and technology together. I just like the idea of it, and then I said, well, I would also like to be involved in those, computers, programming, softwares, those systems that run the everyday machines we have, and then be part of that industry. So far, university is interesting. It's taking time to adapt, which makes it interesting because the courses, in my opinion, they started too early with the assignments and all that. But then we move.
Tweek 2024 stands for Technology Week 2024. This was born out of the desire to institute something that would create a certain kind of activity that will nurture the relationship we have between us and our industry. So the departmental board decided that we will try this initiative where we invite all our industrial partners, our valued industrial partners, to engage in a technology week to create a platform where students can exhibit their innovation. We can also have seminars and discussions on latest trends as far as technology is concerned.
A lot of preparations went into the organization, from the side of getting the industry partners to join us and preparing the students to exhibit, to present their work, and to come together to create an opportunity for collaboration, for networking.
In the past, we used to do final year student defense behind the scenes. Industry wouldn't see, and people complain that, oh, we have solutions, but industry is not buying into it. But this time we wanted to do co-creation. So they will come and see what our students are doing. And those that have potential business value, we start to nurture them into businesses.
We believe as an organization, identifying talents that can innovate using AI is the future. And KNUST, being the biggest technology university in Ghana, is the right place to be. As an organization that believes in technology, we believe that through collaboration with KNUST, we will be able to come up with new innovations. We'll be able to identify talents that can develop solutions for our partners across the globe, and we'll be able to support the ecosystem.
We had exhibitions, so all the students did poster presentations, which was open to the general public. Think about this, parents and other stakeholders could walk in and look at whatever our students were doing.
I like the fact that they are making us showcase our creativity with our project work for partners to invest and see what we are good at.
Previously, I've just been our supervisors and we go in and come back. But then presenting to other people has been a learning curve for us and for other people as well.
It's been good, it's been exciting. I speak to the students and they're happy. They're happy, they got to meet people from industry, they got to hear from them, know what is going on in tech and how they can prepare themselves to join industry.
So next year we'll take it a notch higher. Probably we're looking at an international level where we'll expand the partnerships list, and then we'll do more of collaborative and co-creation projects. Eventually, what we want this to see is that we want to be able to count the number of projects we've been able to turn into products or businesses. As we said at the beginning of the conference, we are no longer going to count degrees, but we are going to move a next step to count the number of jobs or impacts that we have made as far as the society is concerned. That is our target.
I've always believed that the talent exists, is the opportunity that we lack. So I realized most of the guys were talented, they were enthusiastic about the hackathon, and so far they're doing great stuff.
Well, it's been really great. You know, a lot of the kids are very curious. They seem to be very hardworking, even when they are not quite sure of how to solve a particular problem, and when they come ask you about what you think about it, you can tell that they've done a lot of thinking and they've actually tried to solve the problem. And they're also quite creative, so it's quite encouraging, you know, to have young, energetic, smart, creative people. Wonderful mix.
I came here to understand how innovation, or how I can be innovative into the field of engineering, and how I can improve upon the systems we have in place, and also learn the correlation between academic and industry, and how to transition smoothly into the industrial systems.
I think if I have exposed us to very wonderful things today, and it's been an annual program, I think it's going to largely benefit the students of this department.
Well, I've learned that there are a lot of things going on in Ghana that I didn't really know about, that they're actually exciting. So the future of tech in Ghana is looking very good.
I think it's a nice program so far, that's what I've seen. And I'm hoping that it should be done consistently.
Honestly, they've shared a lot of tips. A lot were entrepreneurial, a lot were educational, a lot were about how to build yourself as an individual entering. And a lot were also about encouragement for women, for us to improve, dive into the whole industry. So I feel very encouraged and enlightened, basically.
Last year, they all did very well. Yes, I was very impressed with the solutions that most of their teams came up with. But then I know this year we are going to see bigger things and bigger ideas. So we are still looking forward to see what they are willing to present. Okay, so last year we got 5,000 Ghana cedis. Yeah.
Go to him and he will sort you out. And please, who else wants to say something? Third and last person, and then we move on with the session. Or I go around and bring the mic. Please, our lecturers are not excluded. Dr. Araba, please, do you want to tell us something?
Okay. So what I would say is that the hackathon didn't happen just in one day. It has taken a series of days and activities to get us here today. And just like we have heard this morning, we are not training to be pitchpreneurs. So even as we sit here, even as we listen and look at what they've done, don't just go away with being impressed. Go away with new ideas so that you yourselves can take up such opportunities in future when you hear of any hackathon anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Awa. So as Dr. Awa was speaking, our very own Dr. Kingsley too was looking at us. So I think maybe he wants to add his voice and then we'll move on.
I want to see what the results will be. I like the suspense. I don't know what is really going to happen. So I'm going to pay attention and see how these young ones, brilliant ones, are going to come up with. And I just want to see the suspense in this.
So we are here for the suspense. That is why we are all here. Me especially, I'm here for the cash prize, honestly. Although I won't be taking some bets. It seems logistics is done. So continuation of our session. Okay. Please, a round of applause as our hackathon members are about to take their seats. A hand of applause to them. They have done so well. They have been there coding and doing what's not. And then today, we are going to see the result of all their hard work and appreciate them. And then, God willing, we will see who goes out with the cash prize and then the many opportunities that await them today. You are welcome, our hackathon team. Please take your seats, and then we can begin the session officially. Meanwhile, tech team, kindly give us a prelude as we wait for them to settle down. Thank you very much.
Araba, there are some people at the door. Go and tell them I have traveled to Russia.
Yes, Daddy.
Where's your father?
My father said I should tell you he has traveled to Russia.
Your father has killed me. I sent him money from America to complete my house for me.
Are all student association contributions?
Even the money from the fundraiser for Kweku's surgery.
Oh! He too? Don't be a victim. If you're contributing to a project, alumni dues, or any public campaign, Chango is your best choice. Chango keeps track of all donations and gives you the power to know exactly where the money goes. Chango is approved by Bank of Ghana. Call 0270-066-614 or visit changoapp.com for more information.
Uncle, my father is hiding under the bed.
Oh, Araba.
Chango for your groupings and crowdfunding.
Okay, so this is an IoT device, an IoT extension board. It is basically supposed to give a user or a consumer the ability to control his or her extension boards remotely. Most of the time, as people, we leave our houses and sometimes we forget that we left sockets on, we left devices connected to sockets not turned off. So you can't come back and then come and turn it off. Maybe you may be busy at work or something. So having a device such as this will give you the opportunity to turn it off remotely via an app that we have as a counterpart to the device. So how it works is it uses 4 relay modules.
Thank you, the visual team. Good morning once again, everyone. My name is Joyce Mable, and I will be your moderator for this hackathon session. So, as we've done already in the icebreaker, I am going to call upon Mr. Arnold Giovanni and Materials Digital Ghana to introduce the concept of the hackathon for this year for us all to understand in plain English. Because although we are engineering students, maybe there might be 1 or 2 people among us who won't understand the terms. So his job is quite simple. Break down their task for us to understand, and then also call upon the judges to come and then judge for themselves, so that at the end, we will know who goes out with the cash prize. Now, if you've forgotten who he is a dynamic technology leader with a proven track record in driving digital transformation and building strategic IT solutions across Africa. Currently, he is serving as the Managing Director for Heidelberg Materials Digital Hub, leading an establishment of dedicated digital hub following the successful implementation of key digital solutions across Ghana and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome Mr. Arnold on stage.
All right, thank you. My colleague just prompted me that